Welcome back to the Smugsy Show. I'm Smugsy, your host. Almost every Wednesday we meet here to talk about important things and important people. This week, my plans for August 5th, and I want to know your plans. Plus, the latest from on the ground at Camp Betty. So what are you doing August 5th? Maybe you're going to the Kirk Minihane Show in Plymouth, Massachusetts. I hope so. On the heels of a fabulous appearance by this show at the Kirk Minihane Show at the State Theater in Portland. Everyone's wondering if we're going to go to Plymouth, and I wish that we were. I wish I was going, as a journalist. Some concern whether you can wear mink before Labor Day on the Cape, but I think more fundamentally than that, what's going to prevent my appearance is the admittance of me as an athlete into the famous road race at Camp Betty. You probably have heard of it. The Thumper to Thicket 10K. Yeah, it's like I have to go. I have to perform. There's no doubt about it. In the battle for refugee housing, I'm essentially like Dinah Shore, Bob Hope during World War II. Just have to keep the troops happy. And what makes the troops happy is when their leader performs and wins, and that's what we'll do at the 10K. It's a formula, really. You just look good, finish strong. Cross your fingers that your opponent maybe twists an ankle or something. So we're in for the race, which means you're going to have to send my regards to Kirk on August 5th. And, in many respects, what we're doing on this show in the battle for refugee housing at Camp Betty is a lot like the life that Kirk Minihane leads, right? The equivalent of performing a live show at the State Theater in Portland is achieving refugee housing at Camp Betty. The political moves, the strategy, okay. The success is all dependent on the same sort of skills, just at a different scale, kind of a different context, if you will. But don't mistake Camp Betty for some podunk, mubbity bumps, outback. No, Camp Betty is sort of where the power is. It's almost like Manhattan. Really wealthy players, big personalities, sort of like Barstool, in Manhattan and Chicago. So Kirk is managing not only the politics within his show and the relationships with his fans and his enemies, but he's obviously dealing with some pretty big personalities at Barstool, competing with a lot of machismo, a lot of talent, big cat. Well, that's essentially what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, managing these relationships with these powerful people and just making the right moves, sometimes making the wrong move. There's a saying, everyone makes mistakes, and it's true, everyone makes mistakes, but not everybody learns from their mistakes. And that's what you have to do in politics. And that's what we've been doing. And we've had some great success lately. Let's just say going viral. But the thing about success, it's similar to being an internet sensation for a nanosecond. It's very fragile. It's very fleeting. But it's exhilarating. And so you bask in the glow of the few seconds of success, knowing that there'll come another time, but it may be maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. There's a lot at stake in this battle for refugee housing. It's not just where some people are going to live. People fleeing the war in Ukraine, right? In the battle for refugee housing, we're pro-Ukraine. We support Zelensky. We defend the New England Cottontails. Our enemy in Camp Betty is essentially Russia, the Eastern Cottontails, the people who support Putin, and the people who are against refugee housing. We're pro-refugee housing. That's the battle I'm fighting, and we had a huge success this week. And I'm not going to gloat, but I predict future success. But let me just share with you a little anecdote. While you're online and you think of something clever and you post it, and then you check in every little bit, maybe every second, to see if anyone's liked it or looked at it, or if you spelt everything right. Well, at Camp Betty, this is what really happened. I was sitting in my kitchen, having my dinner, sipping a nice glass of Cabernet, when on the screen in front of me, at a public meeting, the leader of the enemy, who are fighting refugee housing, publicly dragged my name through the mud several times. So you know what I did? I didn't immediately pick up my phone or go to my computer screen. What I did was, I threw my shoes on, I put Shady in the crate, and I ran to the town center of Camp Betty, where this meeting was taking place, and I had a battle with swords of sorts. And on the heels of that battle, really just turned around and then stabbed the enemy right in the back, right when they were down and out. And so it was just a lovely, really good week of fighting in Camp Betty. But like I said, it's fragile. Life is fragile. Life is fleeting. And what's at stake is not just housing, it's design, it's a lifestyle, it's a belief in the quality of life and abundance, of having parties, of loving people, of celebrating holidays, of beautiful housing. The enemy is bleak, like a prison in winter in Russia, maybe Siberia. Housing like that. Freezing cold, no heat. Cold beet soup, morning, noon, and night. That's it. That's what we're up against. So I'm sorry that I'm going to miss the Kirk Minihane Show in Plymouth, but there's important work to be done. And showing up at the Thumper to Thicket 10K and looking good and finishing strong is part of my job. And until next time, this is Smugsy Girl signing off. Please subscribe to the show, follow me on Twitter @SmugsyGirl, and until next week, take care.